Hey guys, welcome back. We've spent the week learning about cells and organelles. Today we're going to do a quick review of some of those ideas, and then you're going to go off and do a really interesting and fun little project. Let's get started. So our big question that we've been working with is how do cells and organelles within them work together to form the basis of all life? And you'll be able to differentiate between animal and plant cells, and you'll be able to recall the primary organelles. Now remember, there's 18 organelles in all, but we're going to be looking at a bunch of the primary ones today. Remember, these slides are posted for you on Google Classroom. Make sure you're taking good notes, and then just go back and look at the previous sets of slides and video lessons. Update your notes. Let's get started here. So, the basis of cell theory is that all living things are made of cells, and that cells are the basic unit of life, and that all cells come from other cells. And although all living things are made of cells, organisms can either be unicellular, composed of just one cell, or they can be multicellular, composed of many cells that organize into tissues. Those tissues become organs, and those organs are part of organ systems. So bacteria cells are typically unicellular, but animals and plants are typically multicellular. That's a cute dog. Now, since cells are the most basic unit of life, there are two types of cells. You have the prokaryotic cell, which is also known as the bacteria cell, and then you have the eukaryotic cell, and the eukaryotic cells are both the animal and plant cells. What makes up a cell? The inside of the cells have organelles, and the organelle is a subcellular structure that has one or more specific jobs to perform in the cell, much like an organ does in the body. And among the important cell organelles are the nuclei, which store the genetic information, the mitochondria, which produce the chemical energy, and the ribosomes, which assemble the proteins. Now, all cells have those four structures, but the eukaryotic cells also have organelles that have a membrane around them. And the organelles are specialized structures within the cell that work together to help the cell function. You want to think of them as little mini organs within the cell that work together for the main purpose of making proteins. The whole purpose of the organelles is to help that cell keep on making more proteins. Because proteins is what runs our bodies. Now the four main structures, let's do a review on this. The cell membrane, which allows materials in and out of the cell and in and out of the individual organelles. Organelles, not organizes. The nuclei, which store the genetic information, the mitochondria, which produces the chemical energy, and the ribosomes, which assemble the proteins. So there's four main organelle structures, and all the other organelles help them do their jobs. This is an illustration of the animal cell and all the organelles inside of it. And then the plant cell. Remember, the plant cell has a cell wall, and it has a large central vacuole. And what differentiates the plant cell from the animal cell is also the plant cell has the chloroplast, which takes sunlight energy and turns it into energy for the plant. Let's go over a couple of these main organelles again. You've got the cell membrane, which surrounds the outside of the cell, also known as the phospholipid bilayer. Its job is to control what goes in and out of the cell. All cells regardless of whether they're prokaryotic or eukaryotic, have a cell membrane. The phospholipid bilayer is 2 layers of fat, bilayer, 2 layers. Those fats are the phospholipids. They've got proteins embedded to allow materials to go in and out of the cell. We call it a fluid mosaic model because it's composed of many parts that can move around freely. It's really quite pretty if you look at it. You then have cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is that jelly-like substance that is inside all of cells, and it's mainly made up of water. And its job is to hold everything in place and to move things around in the cell. You have the nucleus. The nucleus structure contains the genetic material, the DNA. It's surrounded by a nuclear envelope or membrane with pores that allow and control what goes in and out of the nucleus. Its job is to protect the DNA that controls the activities of the cell. The animal cell has a nucleus, the plant cell has a nucleus, but the bacteria cell or the prokaryotic cell does not have a nucleus. The nucleolus is also found inside the nucleus, and its job is to make ribosomal RNA, which helps make up the ribosomes. You have a nucleolus in the animal cell and in the plant cell, but not in the bacteria cell. We then have the mitochondria. The mitochondria, its structure is an inner membrane and a matrix, or the fluid part. Its job is where cellular respiration occurs, and it breaks down food to release energy as ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. And it is considered the powerhouse of the cell. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You have a mitochondria in an animal cell. You have a mitochondria in a plant cell, but you do not have a mitochondria in the bacteria cell. Then we have the ribosomes, and the ribosomes are made of proteins and ribosomal RNA. They're located on the rough ER and floating around in cytoplasm. And remember, ER stands for endoplasmic reticulum. I bet you guys were walking around all day yesterday saying to yourself, endoplasmic reticulum. If not, do it today. The job of the ribosomes is to make proteins. It's all about making proteins. You've got ribosomes in the animal cells. You've got ribosomes in the plant cells. And you have ribosomes in that bacteria cell. Remember, the bacteria cell has to have proteins because otherwise it can't work. So it's all about making proteins. So we covered those main structures, but a list of all of the organelles is here. There are 18 of them. I don't have to go through all of them with you again. You'll do that on your own. Now, next thing you're going to do, go back, review all of your notes. Then go to the next assignment tab and you're going to open up a new set of Google Slides. It's already there. It's got your name on it. On each slide, there are 2 tasks. I want you to choose one task from that slide and respond to it on the slide with your answers. Keep on working on it, and then when you're done, you can submit it, but don't submit it until they're all done. It's due on Friday, so you've got some time to work on it. Now, if you want to be ambitious, answer both questions. You never know what you might get for that. Well, that's all I have for you today. Today is a review of cells and organelles. Make sure you do the task slides. If you have any questions along the way, send me a message or email me. and we'll get back to you pretty quickly. That's all I have for you today. We'll see you next time, and you have an outstanding day.